la, 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 la. First you take the pink, and then some blue, and then the green, and then more pink, and then a dash of blue. Coloring, coloring, coloring. There's another color. Do. Look, I drew us. Bus driver, are we there yet?
Welcome to Checkered Childhood, a classic Cartoon Network podcast covering many, many years of Cartoon Network's history.
I'm funky. I'm fresh.
Hi.
The Powerpuff Girls?
Hi.
Not now, boy. I'm busy. Tonight's the third night.
Greetings, ToonHeads. It's your cartoon history guide, BDubs. And this is Checkered Childhood, a classic Cartoon Network podcast dedicated to all things animation from the 1990s and early 2000s. Today, we're charting a course for the city of Townsville, a place that seems normal like any other city from afar, but is bustling with chaos once you're thrust into the heart of it. Let's go meet a few of my friends who are responsible for saving the day time and time again. I'm, of course, talking about the Powerpuff Girls. Who else? 3 little crime fighters who have undoubtedly made the lives of millions better for being there, both in the show and for fans like us who grew up watching the show. Just a quick note here. Like our top 10 Dexter's Lab countdown list from before, we will not be covering the reboot episodes in this podcast topic for multiple reasons. A, I've only seen just one episode of it, and I didn't like it that much. And B, there are dozens of quality high-ranking episodes we won't be able to mention today from later seasons of the original run. So down the line, I think we'll do a volume 2 when I'm up for making a follow-up to this list. All right, with that out of the way, are you ready for a top 10 countdown list of what's regarded as some of the greatest episodes? Let's go help the professor make a fresh batch of sugar, spice, and everything nice with a dash of Chemical X and dive in. So starting off with our countdown list, we have number 10 with Mr. Mojo's Rising. This is from Season 1, Episode 7B, and its initial air date was January 6th, 1999. The premise involves when Mojo holds the professor for ransom to lure the Powerpuff Girls into his lair, the sinister monkey drops a bombshell about how a freak accident with Chemical X caused him to inadvertently create the Powerpuff Girls, not the professor as previously stated. Now, driven by jealousy, Mojo Jojo wants the girls' powers all for himself, and they'll have to think outside the box to free their brainy father from the clutches of evil.
Oh, thank you, Father. I was once a vengeful mad genius bent on destroying mankind. But now I'm a vengeful mad genius bent on destroying mankind with superpowers.
I knew he couldn't be trusted. Get him!
Why is it on this list? Well, while the show was in its infancy, this revelation was quite shocking at the time, though it seems more fitting as a series finale or as part of the Powerpuff Girls movie lore. While it is a bit heartbreaking to hear how JoJo was outcast and outshined once the girls were born from his perspective, the professor's more realistic recollection of past events set the story straight with how maniacally mischievous he actually turned out. JoJo, that is. Apparently, if it wasn't for Mojo Jojo doing one specific action at just the right time, the girls would have never existed. And it's because of him that he fixates on the sequence of events well into the end card, which is a bit funny and a little disturbing at the same time.
Yeah! So once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. But thanks originally to Mojo Jojo.
It was me. It was me. It was me. It was me.
Moving on to our number 9 spot, we have the Powerpuff Girls' Best Rainy Day Adventure Ever from Season 2, Episode 10A. Its air date was April 28th, 2000. And the premise involves the girls taking a break from crime fighting to play pretend in their bedroom while it's raining outside. Because you can't fight crime if it's bad weather.
Give up, monster! Never! Choo, 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 choo. Oh no! I also am going down! Bubbles, help us!
You have got to be kidding me. I don't have time for this.
You gotta help us, and the faster you help us, the faster you can go back to work!
You promise?
Yes! Now help us!
All right. Fly, 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 fly. Pow, bye, 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 bye.
Why is this one on my list? You know, it seems pretty unassuming, but I like it. I think it deviates from the normal Powerpuff Girl formula of saving the day and scaled things down a bit to an everyday little girl's fantasy where they play pretend and just have some fun making up adventures as they go along and even switching up some roles. It's a good reminder to enjoy your youth while you have it, because moments like playing pretend are gold once you're an adult. Overall, I'd say it's fun, it's cute, and imaginative, and it definitely gives fans a breather from all the gut-punching, monster-slaying action. I just love how the girls get creative with their toys in the bedroom, as it makes for a cozy trip down memory lane for all of us who yearn to be young in the 90s again. And Bubbles also pretending to be the mayor, with her pigtails serving as his mustache, is both brilliant and hilarious.
Don't you think you should call the Powerpuff Girls? The Powerpuff Girls? Oh, yeah, the Powerpuff Girls. Please, pick up!
Moving on to our number 8 slot, we have Mommy Fierce from Season 1, Episode 2B. The air date is November 18th, 1998. And the premise involves a peculiar woman in white taking a liking to the professor when they meet in a grocery store one day. However, things take a dark turn when she escalates their relationship to husband and wife status, revealing her true intentions to destroy the Powerpuff Girls from within their own home.
Professor, honey, thank goodness you're back. The girls just went crazy and jumped me when I came home.
No, Professor, it's not true. She's really Sedusa, and she grounded us so she could make off with the mayor's jewels.
Liars!
Yikes. Why is this one on the list? Well, Sedusa is scary and surprisingly seductive. It's no wonder that the professor fell under her spell when she masqueraded as I'm a good lady. What particularly stood out to me is her gradual descent into evil, signified by her gradual change from white to deep red in her appearance. And I also thought the Mommy Dearest film reference helps too in setting the sinister tone, if you are old enough to remember that film from 1981. Considering this is Sedusa's first but not last appearance, I'd say it's a solid introduction to her character beyond her inclusion of the show's actual introduction, and even in later episodes where she fights against Miss Bellum as a doppelganger.
Girls, call the police. This crook isn't going to deceive us anymore.
All right, we're rolling right along through the list with number 7 in Uh-Oh Dynamo from Season 1, Episode 13. Its air date is May 26, 1999, and the premise is involving a scary encounter with a seemingly unbeatable monster, which, for those who've seen the episode, is a giant puffer fish with feet and spikes. The professor overcompensates this scary encounter by designing a giant mech for Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup to use in battle, or else they're grounded. While the professor has good intentions to protect them from danger in the thick of the battle, his overprotective nature definitely hinders the girls from doing what they do best: kick serious monster tail.
Use the dynamo or you're all grounded.
Oh, all right. What harm could it do?
Sequence Alpha Omega.
Copy that. All systems check. Salvage stabilizers are go. Extremity activators are go. Neural net online and engage.
Why is this one on the list? Well, I'd say it's Powerpuff Girls' answer to Dexter Labs' Last But Not Beast episode. I mean, after all, Gandhi Tartakovsky teamed up with Craig McCracken to co-direct this one at the end of Season 1. So it's no surprise that there are undertones of his flagship show laced in the plot here. Heck, there's even a building montage in his lab, something Dexter is very fond of himself. I especially appreciate the myriad of assault weapons packed into this giant machine woman as it harkens to Power Ranger Zords and all the bells and whistles that they come equipped with for their own kaiju battles in their show. I'd say overall the episode is relatable in how the professor feels when he builds something magnificent for his kids to undermine. But by the end of the episode, the viewer realizes through all this that, you know, if he simply trusts the girls more to do what they do best, they can handle even the most challenging of challenges that life throws at them. The episode has a great setting at a bonsai park, which we almost never see. And I really do appreciate how the big brother of the pufferfish is huge and impenetrable compared to his wimpier counterpart. And also how the city of Townsville montage opening the episode gives us a deeper understanding of the locales that are all around us, aside from the ones that we see most often from episode to episode. There's Mouth's grocery store, there's the bowling alley, just to name a few. Definitely not Mount Rushmore.
About the only thing it doesn't have is Mount Rushmore.
All right, we're almost at the halfway point with our number 6 spot with Telephonies, Season 1, Episode 6A. This had an air date from December 23rd, 1998, and it involves a clever ploy to get the mayor out of Townsville City Hall, where the Gangrene Gang makes some prank phone calls. I never know what to say. But anyways, they make some prank phone calls on the Powerpuff Girls hotline to send them on a wild goose chase to beat up and bother resting villains on their day off.
Hello, Mayor. Are you sure? Really? Really? Oh, okay, we're on it. Is he pulling our leg again? No, this time it's serious. It's him.
Why is this one on the list? It's a lot of fun. Not only does it change up the typical Powerpuff Girl beat up the monster and save the day formula, but it shows how a simple prank can end up hurting you in the end, quite literally, when you harm people on the same side of morality. It's not often that we see villains fighting other villains, unless like the Amoeba Boys unintentionally wreak havoc. But that's another episode and story for another day. Getting to see the brawl among the Gangrene Gang, Mojo Jojo, him, and Fuzzy Lumpkins ultimately leads the girls to refusing the call due to one too many cry woofs scenarios that makes them not want to respond. If only the mayor knew what was really going on behind it all. I'd also say that Grubber's uncanny talent to perfectly mimic the other people's voices is quite literally the linchpin for this plot, while Billy's dopey delivery sweetens the deal once the boys have broken into the mayor's office. I'd say it's a solid romp of everyday conflict dished up in a Powerpuff Girl way.
Hello?
I demand to speak with the mayor.
He's not here right now. Can I take a massage?
All right, we're at the halfway point now with number 5, Mind for a Change, Season 1, Episode 11B. The air date for this episode is January 13th, 1999. And the premise involves, well, when a birthday clown, played by Tom Kenny, gets a little too wrapped up in a birthday song, leading to a truck full of bleach to drain his color, he's transformed into a mute menace named Mr. Mime. No, not the Pokemon one, who is obsessed with draining the sound and color out of Townsville. Why is this episode on the list? Well, I mean, just listen to Bubbles' coloring song. It's so cute. That aside, this episode is a great example of how the most cheerful characters often lose their cool when something they value is taken away, like in the case of Bubbles and just color and life in Townsville. I really do appreciate how she tries to fix everything by scribbling on it all over with her box of crayons, including her own sisters who've been sapped of their energy. Misguided, I admit, but I do admire her determination. In fact, the solution to lifeless Townsville is not exactly color, but color within sound. Don't believe me? Just listen to the infectious earworm that the girls use to resolve the pesky predicament, which is the song Love Makes the World Go Round. If you ever seen the 90s film Pleasantville, you'll notice this has a similar look to it, though the mood shift from cheery to drab is in reverse by contrast. If you like clowns or mimes, give it a watch, which you'll also see in Dexter's Lab episode The Laughing, but that's just a side tangent.
Obviously, Sing Sing is the place for you. But
all right, we're in the top 4 now with Abracadabra from Season 1, Episode 5B. The air date was December 16th, 1998, and the premise basically involves when the mayor orders to have a crumbling theater to be torn down, he accidentally releases an evil from bygone times that seeks revenge on an innocent little girl who wronged him during the show. Turns out that little girl is mixed up with Blossom. So we see some wild tricks be performed before our very eyes.
Excuse me, Mr. Zombie, sir. Could you stop destroying Townsville with your evil zombie magic, please?
You're that girl with bear.
Why is this one on the list? I'd have to say, out of all of them on this top 10 list, it's one of the darkest, most tragic episodes of the series in terms of a villain's backstory. The mayor tale of how the magician died is quite graphic, especially for a kid's show. And seeing his reanimated corpse take revenge on the girls with his sinister sideshow act, ravaging Townsville in many ways, is downright terrifying. I remember this episode burned the imagery of this villain in his sinister tricks into my brain as a kid. And even revisiting it now, it strikes a hard chord, like a wrecking ball to a theater that the mayor is so fond of. I'm sure we'll do an episode review of it at some point. It's too good to ignore. It's scary, it's gruesome, it's well-paced, and somehow creepy in a way not many Powerpuff Girl episodes tend to be, down to the final curtain call with a twist ending.
How? Who? When? But who's in the... Oh, girls, I love that voodoo that you do.
All right, we're finally in the top 3 of the list with Pet Feud from Season 2, Episode 8B. Air date was February 13th, 2000, though it had different air dates across Australia, Canada, UK, and Japan. But that's beside the point. The premise involves the girls getting a brand new pet named Bebo that was biogenetically engineered, but accidentally got fed more than necessary due to the girls misunderstanding the professor's instructions. Now they have a rather giant problem on their hands that gets bigger with every bite.
Oh, Professor, he's perfect.
Yes, the biogenetically engineered experimental bipedal organism, or Bebo as I like to call him, is perfect in every way.
Why is this episode on the list? This one wins the cutest episode on the list award simply for the fact that Bebo is basically a furry Kirby, or a baby version of Looney Tunes' Gossamer, who needs attention. Taking into account the undertones of Steven Spielberg's Gremlins film from 1984 that are present throughout this one, it makes us viewing the episode realize how pets can bear quite the responsibility to take care of them. And if we happen to neglect our duties to make sure that they're, well fed and healthy, they may just run amok and cause havoc at home. Or in this case, through the city of Townsville. If you want a dose of cuteness overload, definitely watch this one, because I laughed when I saw the girls dress up Bebo as a pretty little girl, bow and everything. It was so adorable and fitting.
Wait, girls, look.
It's raining Bebos!
I want one! I want one!
I want one! I want one!
All right, next up, we have the Rowdy Rough Boys for our number 2 slot with Season 1, Episode 12. Air date was April 7th, 1999, and the premise basically involves the girls meeting their match as Mojo Jojo concocts his own trio of misfit ruffians using snips, snails, and puppy dog tails mixed together with a batch of Chemical X.
Hey, we ain't no babies! We're the Rowdy Rough Boys! Boomer! Butch, we're here to kick some butt. And since yours is the only one around, we're gonna start with you!
Oh, no, boys. You don't want to kick my butt. My butt is as rotten as yours.
Why is this one on the list? It's an action-packed smash fest through and through. I love seeing each of the girls try to find clever ways to defeat the boys, since they are evenly matched. From switching colors to the mayor's goofy monologue about pretzels while their keisters are being kicked into his glass window. It's one of those episodes that make you wonder as a young viewer, will they even survive this battle? It's just so heartbreaking to hear Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup admit that they failed. And we're not used to that either. But you also see how the Powerpuff Girls defeat their rivals through an outside-the-box solution thanks to Miss Bellum. And I appreciate it knowing that, how boys and girls grow up throughout life and deal with cooties. You'll just have to see the episode for yourself to see the satisfying conclusion of their demise.
Girls, you have what boys fear most. Instead of fighting, try being nice.
Huh?
You know, Nice.
I get it. Ew, gross.
Before we go into our number one episode of this top 10 Powerpuff Girls episodes list, here's a few honorable mentions that I just couldn't help but shout out because I appreciate them so much for being high quality storytelling and just a romping good time. We have Monkey See Doggy Do, which is from the very beginning of season 1. Pace Makes Waste, where they had that kid who turned into a giant glue monster from Pokio's kindergarten. Twisted Sister, where a fourth Powerpuff Girl named Bunny is created to help them. Super Villain / Just Desserts, where we have a normal everyday middle class family turn evil on the girls. And Collect Her, where you might run into these guys who are obsessed with collecting things for their value to the point where they want the original thing itself, which is the Powerpuff Girls. All great episodes that I've mentioned so far. Definitely give them a watch if you get a chance. And now, with our number one episode of the top 10 Powerpuff Girls episodes list, smashing in at number 1 is Meet the BDubs from season 3, episode 13B. The air date is April 7th, 1999, and the premise is based on a clever reimagining of the Beatles' musical history, where we see a cleverly orchestrated plot revolving around a supervillain gang who actually managed to defeat the Powerpuff Girls at every turn. That is, until an unexpected character breaks up the band from within.
We shall be known simply as the Beatles!
Yes, screaming girls everywhere ran screaming whenever the Beatles made the scene. Individually, it had been a long and winding road. But together, the Beatles, or the Bad Four as they were also known, had finally conquered Townsville.
Why is it on this list? I mean, considering Craig McCracken was hugely inspired by the Beatles' catalog of hits in his adolescent years, we see another side of him unfolds into our usual cast of baddies playing each part of the real-life band, involving Princess, him, Fuzzy Lumpkins, and Mojo Jojo, some of the most feared villains and most powerful throughout the series. I really do like the narrator documenting the Beatles' winning streak too, as if he's covering Beatlemania back in the early to mid-1960s. Every detail and every lyric woven into the story hits exactly the right note at exactly the right time. So even if you don't appreciate their music or the impact on the music history that they have created, it's still a fun deviation from the typical bad guys lose to the Powerpuff Girls formula that we're so familiar with. To this day, that weird undressing of the monkey lady in white still creeps me out. Don't know why. I just think there's something in the uncanny valley with the way Michelle is drawn. But Mojo's reaction is priceless too, as he shrieks like a little girl. You got to see the episode to know what I mean, to get the full effect.
Michelle? Who's this Michelle? Moko, do you...
Before we wrap up our episode today, I'm going to mention just a couple of dishonorable mentions. Not because that I like to bash things that I appreciate or that you love. It's just worth pointing out some things that didn't quite make the mark in terms of quality. And I have to mention Fallen Arches and Moral Decay for their lackluster plot and flattening of characters. I mean, with the Moral Decay one, for example, Buttercup definitely resorts to literally beating everyone up so she can just hoard everyone's teeth in order to get tons of coins and get greedy rich. Doesn't quite hit the same way you expect in 2025 with how billionaires are ruining and running everything. But luckily, Buttercup doesn't act this selfish in other episodes. I do have to say that despite being on the dishonorable mention list, it does have a pretty funny ending where literally everyone is at the dentist office holding their swollen faces. So at least it's got that going for it.
Well, Buttercup, I can't say I'm proud of you. But I do know this lesson will surely teach you one thing. The value of $1. Yes, I think this will just about cover your dental bills.
So what are my memories of Powerpuff Girls? Well, I love the first iteration of the Powerpuff Girls when it first aired in the late 90s. And very few episodes turned me off to the series, as they're all well crafted and well entertaining, with hooking me in with its nonstop action, even if 3 female protagonists are the stars. I would say that a lot of what I get to see in the show is very akin to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, which scratches that hero saves the day from threat in a city itch, especially with giant monster action, which I absolutely love. With a diverse cast of citizens from the mayor to Miss Keen all lending their unique perspective to this monster-ridden world, we do gain a sense of security and excitement knowing the Powerpuff Girls will be there to save the day time and time again. And if nothing else, there's always that talking dog that we love to see once in a while. So that being said, why does the Powerpuff Girls show actually matter in the context of classic Cartoon Network history? I'd say that it's a staple of Cartoon Network history, and it's no surprise to longtime fans who love watching the show or have loved watching the show growing up. These 10 episodes mentioned are why the majority of viewers celebrate the show and come back for more. They're creative, they're clever, and they're full of humor and action to satisfy whatever TV craving you may be experiencing. Because of its critical acclaim as an animated series, I'd say that Craig McCracken has become a cornerstone as an animator and showrunner who gave Cartoon Network legs so it could walk in the 90s and run in the 2000s. If you haven't seen the original run yet, I highly recommend watching it, either in order or even in a la carte style. You can't go wrong either way. So here's our closing for our episode. What's your personal top 10 Powerpuff Girl episode list? Email me your responses at checkerchildhood@gmail.com or even drop them in the YouTube comments below this episode. I'll even do a poll for which random episode I pick deserves the number 1 spot, so keep an eye out for that when it goes live after this podcast episode's release. Maybe you'll have a list that's different in mine, or you might see some that overlap. It'll be fun to see your reactions, so definitely chime in when you get a chance. If you enjoyed this topic, you can also rate and review Checker Childhood on Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you listen on your preferred podcast platforms. Heck, even show us some love by hyping this on YouTube if you're feeling it. If you also know someone who likes listening to Powerpuff Girls or any other Cartoon Network topic that we're covering, let them know we exist so we can be seen by cartoon fans everywhere. All right, check in next time when we explore a haunted mansion in the woods for spooky season with an episode review from a show we surprisingly have not covered yet. Maybe even 2 if you consider the plot that's going on here. Do you have an idea of what we're going to be talking about? It'll be a frightfully good time, I can tell you that. Thank you, my fellow ToonHeads, for being here today. And I still genuinely appreciate your willingness to listen to this little show of mine that I'm doing all on my own. Our love of classic Cartoon Network is why we keep coming back for more nostalgia after all. And I think I'll do a few more of these for the holiday season in case you're playing this in the background while celebrating with friends or even family. Well, that's it for this episode of Checker Childhood. I think it's time to chart a course into the haunted woods so I can help some friends unmask a menace in the manor. Say that 10 times fast. Have a toonerific day, everyone. Check you later.
Yes, Mayor? The giant alligator! I'm on my way! I fell in the mud.